Grand rising, people. Hope y'all doing well. I'm doing great. So today I wanted to do a little bit of walking outside, recording nature as usual, guys. But unfortunately, I broke my tripod, and it's a rainy morning, so we're recording in the car. But anyhow, guys, this morning's message is titled "Things Get Ugly When the Narcissist Implodes." I say that again. Things get ugly when the narcissist implodes. So let's get into it, guys. But before we go there, guys, allow me to narrate you guys a story of a hunter and his prey. Okay? A story of a hunter and his prey. So it goes like this, guys. There once lived a hunter, right? Who would always gather with his friends, drink whiskey, and have sweet barbecues, kebabs, you name it, And when they're done celebrating, guys, he'll pick up his rifle, go into the woods, drink some more whiskey, and find some animals or some prey to shoot. Okay? He would hunt, he would bring home his gatherings, and the next day the cycle would repeat. He would gather with his pals, they would drink whiskey again, they would barbecue the meat he brought home, and they will just enjoy, have fun. Okay? So this cycle continued for some time, and over time, the prey, guys, the animals in the woods were beginning to shorten. Okay? They were beginning a shortage, right? So there was this one night, guys, that the hunter was out there. He did his routine, had his barbecue with his friends over whiskey, and then went out into the woods, drank some more whiskey. He saw these two deers out there grazing in the open fields. So, like he always do, he propped up his rifle and struck the first deer, shot the first deer down. So the shock from that terrified the second deer, of course, and they began to run, right? Again, the hunter propped up his rifle and tried to shoot down the second deer, and managed to hit them, but the shot was not fatal enough. So the deer continued to hobble on and eventually got away. Okay? So from here now, guys, this deer ran far, 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 far away. Okay? He went and found some place quiet and peaceful, took care of himself, licked his wounds, and healed himself. Okay? Far, 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 far away from their usual hangout. Okay? He stayed there for quite some time, licked his wounds, and healed himself. Okay? So after this now, when he got better, he returned to the forest, to their usual hangout, and rounded up all the animals in that area and said, guys, I have a story to share with you. I have some news for you guys. And so all the animals gathered around, and Mr. Deer began his news, his story, right? So he began to tell them why there's been a shortage around them, why their brothers and sisters keep disappearing, and he told them that he knew where they were going. He knows where they disappeared to. Now that's it. There's a human who comes here every night, and stays out there and hunts them down and takes them home. Okay? So the animals were a bit confused. Like, they didn't quite comprehend the deer's story. And so the deer said, if you guys don't believe me, look at my wounds. He began to, one by one, show all the animals his wounds. And he told them exactly what happened to his pal that night. They were out grazing in the open fields, and his pal was shut down. So he narrated his story clearly to them, and he managed to convince the rest of the animals that yes, indeed, there's a shortage. Gradually, the animals are disappearing from the forest, and it doesn't make sense. There has to be something, right? So following this now, the animals say, okay, so what should we do? Should we attack this human that comes here and shoot at us? Or what should we do? And the deer, being the peaceful pal that he was, said, no, there's no need to attack this human. Okay? Where I went to heal, the place I went to hide and heal myself and heal my wounds, there's greener pastures in that place. We should all migrate there. So some of the animals were reluctant, but the deer was so convincing that eventually they gave in and they all agreed to migrate. Okay, so here's Mr. Deer leading the herd of animals out of that forest and onto greener pastures where they can freely graze without nobody hunting them. Okay, so it took them some days, but they all got in line and migrated over to this new land that Mr. Deer had discovered. Okay, so now the hunter, as he normally would, had his barbecue with his pals, drunk off of whiskey, shows up to the forest, and sitting out there waiting for a target, waiting for an animal to cross his line of view. So, as he would normally do, he drink more whiskey while he wait for a target, right? So he continued to drink whiskey. Now, it's getting pretty late into the night, and he realized not even one animal has crossed his path. Not even one animal has crossed his line of sight. So it didn't make sense to him. So he continued to drink his whiskey and wait. He said, I'll wait a little bit more. I'll wait a little bit more. I'll wait a little bit more. So he continued to drink his whiskey, and eventually he ran out of whiskey. And still, no animal had crossed his line of sight. So he began to wonder what was going on. Hmm? But at this point, guys, the hunter was so drunk out of his mind that he remembered that he has not fired his rifle all night. Huh? Being that he had become so accustomed to firing his rifle sometimes multiple times a night, and this time there's no target to fire on, the hunter turned the rifle on himself and pow, blew his brains out. Okay? And that was the end of the hunter. Now let's talk about the narcissist and the empath, guys. See, guys, the narcissist likes to turn you into what he wants you to be. Just like the hunter would take the animals and turn them into barbecue and kebab, the same way for the narcissist, guys. Huh? The narcissist loves to turn you into what they want you to be. Okay? So now, in the previous video, guys, I told you the empath and the narcissist are operating on opposite ends of the spectrum, right? Hunter and prey, essentially. Okay? So, the empath, we absorb, we internalize what the world dishes our way. Okay? We soak it all up and we transmute it. Okay? We soak it up, internalize everything. And when we feel exhausted, guys, we explode our ward. Okay? This usually leads to some form of awakening. Some form of explosion our ward. Some form of expansion. Okay? Pay attention to where I'm going here. All right? The narcissists, on the other hand, guys, what do? They're the ones doing the dishing. Okay? They're the one dishing out the abuse. Dishing out the abuse and taking people resources. Right? Taking. Abusing. Okay? So now, when there's nothing left to be abused, when there's no one else left to be abused, guys, just like the hunter did, turned the rifle on himself and blew his brain out, when there's no one else around to be abused, guess what? The narcissist implodes inward, guys. Like the empath would explode outward, leading to an awakening, an expansion, an explosion. The narcissist implodes inward, guys. Okay? And what does this typically lead to? Them shrinking, them becoming a smaller version of themselves. Okay? So let's understand that. Okay? Empaths, we are the opposite of the narcissist. We explode outward when we've had enough. Okay? Again, we explode our wards, leading to an expansion, an awakening, an explosion outward. Okay? The narcissist implodes inward, leading to destruction of the self. Okay? While the empath what? Explodes outward, leading to an expansion of the self. Just like the animals, they migrated to greener pastures and they continue to live healthy and happy afterwards. Like I said earlier, when we have to face it all, guys, when we've had enough and we have to face it all, guys, we blow up our ward. We explode our ward, right? When the narcissists, when they have to face the truth, when they have to face it all, when they have to face the abuse, when they have to face the reality of how they've been living, guys. The guilt and the shame, okay? The guilt and the shame, guys, forces them to implode inwards, all right? With the empath, the pain will cause the empath to explode outwards. With a narcissist, the guilt and the shame will force them to implode inwards because they refuse to acknowledge that. They refuse to accept that. They refuse to let people see them for exactly who they are. So what would this lead to, guys? This will lead to them running to find a hole somewhere to hide into. Okay? They'll run and find a cave somewhere, a hole somewhere to crawl into and hide. Okay? They might disappear suddenly, abruptly, disappear and ghost everybody. They might run for the hills all of a sudden because they refuse to be seen in the light of their reality, guys. They've probably told so many lies and done so much manipulation that when the truth finally comes out, they're so ashamed and so guilty of what they've done, but they refuse to acknowledge that. They will run off into the hills to find another set of people to manipulate. They will run for the hills, abandon their old circle and go and find new set of people, a new cast to surround themselves with so they can begin the manipulation drill all over again. They could begin the abusive drill all over again. So again, empaths, the pain, we use the pain as fuel to explode outward, to awaken, to expand. The narcissist uses that guilt and the shame to implode inwards, leading to more destruction of the self. Like I said earlier, they will shrink into themselves and become smaller version of themselves. They will find a hole somewhere to crawl into and hide. Okay, and they may run off and disappear and run away, run for the hills, right? And in the situation where they're not able to run, guys, in a situation where their back is against the wall and they're not able to run or disappear or ghost everybody, guys, what do they do now? So as I was saying, the narcissist, when faced with a situation where they're not able to run, they will shrink into themselves and begin to self-destruct. Okay? Again, they'll shrink into themselves and begin to self-destruct. All right? Now, the reason why they do this, guys, why they shrink into themselves and begin to self-destruct is because they're still fishing for supply. Because, like the hunter, they've become so accustomed to abusing others. Okay? They've become so accustomed to abusing others that when there's no one else left to abuse, they turn into themselves. Okay? They turn the rifle on themselves and boom, blows their brain out. So when there's no place to run to and hide, they'll have to face themselves, right? And they begin to search for supply all around them. But guys, at this point, there's no supply in sight. Okay? There are no animals to shoot at this point. Okay? So, they'll begin to self-destruct. All right? They may pick up some very bad habits. Some more bad habits, guys. And in some cases, guys, their health may start failing. Okay? And these are all things that happen deep down on an energetic level. Okay? Their health may start to deteriorate. And in worst cases, guys, they may bow out just like the hunter did. Okay? They may point the rifle on themselves and bam, blow their own brains out. All right? Because, like I said, they will be fishing for supply and there will be no supply in sight. All right? In some cases, their flying monkeys and all their support cast probably abandoned them. Okay? They've seen the toxic individual that they truly are, and they've all disappeared away from them. So they've left them, to live in their guilt and shame, and eventually, like the hunter scenario, they'll hit rock bottom, okay? And because the narcissist is so empty, when they hit rock bottom, they are never able to bounce back, guys. That's the end of it for them. Okay? As empaths, when we hit rock bottom, we are able to gather ourselves and gather strength to push back. Okay? This is what causes that full explosion that leads to awakening, that leads to expansion. Okay? The narcissist is so empty that when they hit rock bottom, guys, they have nothing to draw on. Okay? They have nothing to draw on, guys. Okay? Because they're still so stuck in that abusive programming, and that toxic programming, that the only thing they know, is what? Taking or abusing, taking from outward, because they're empty inside. Okay? The only thing they know is taking from others. Okay? So when there's nobody left to be taken from, when there's nobody around to draw from, they're not able to draw from within. Remember I said we are on opposite ends of the spectrum. Empaths, we do not take. Okay? We give. We are natural givers and helpers. Okay? So when we hit rock bottom, we're able to draw on this, okay, and start pouring into ourselves. We cease to give to others and we start to give to ourselves. All right? The narcissist is running off of the programming of taking, that when there's nothing or no one else left to be taken from, they start to take from themselves. Okay? And this is what leads to the implosion. This is what leads to the self-destruction. And like I said earlier, in some scenarios, guys, their health may start to fade. They may start suffering from diseases or sicknesses. And in worst case scenarios, guys, they would just bow out like the hunter did, turn the rifle on themselves, and bam. Because they've become so accustomed to hurting others. They become so accustomed to taking from others. They become so accustomed to what? Abusing others. All right? And when they tried this on themselves, when they tried this on themselves, they realized, damn, this is not sweet at all. They cannot even stand the taste of their own medicine, guys. That's the sad truth. Okay? So, guys, let me leave this one here. I hope this one was clear enough. All right? Until the next one, peace, love, and more life.